peers, people that have been holding us down the last 3 years. Jetty A-Track, PVM, Positive Vibes, maybe, and we've made it to the final chapter of this here thing that we've been moving and grooving about for the last 3 years. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for being with us. Thank y'all for your support. Thank y'all for your energy. Thank y'all for your topics. Thank y'all for your contributions in the conversations and the great times, and the crazy times. We appreciate it. We truly do. Rory, what's going on with you? And Kia knows things. What's good? What's good? Yes, this is the last one, y'all. So we're going to make this a real good one. You know what I mean? We're going to kick back, you know, waiting for Dash to come up in here so that we can do our thing. I still got things to work on or whatnot, so I'm still going to be moving and grooving and shaking and baking with these hats. But I'm still here, and I want to still be present with y'all, you know what I'm saying? See, Trice, what's going on with y'all? But we've come a long way. We've come from controversy. We've come from great conversations. We've come from merchandising. We've come from Alpha Sparks. What's going on? That's my cousin right there. We've come from ups, downs, and by downs I mean just like crazy situations. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of things. We done made the transition from being in the studio, how we started with PVM. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, you know what I mean, with the onset of COVID and extenuating circumstances, you know what I mean, we kept things moving and flowing as far as IG, and we thank y'all for making that transition with us, you know what I mean? We made strides in expanding the brand beyond, and we thank you all for joining us and for encouraging us on expanding the horizons of where PVM was for us initially to where we are now, over 500 followers. You know what I'm saying? Something that started 3 years ago, and the support and the love is real, so we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Liz, what's going on with you? You know what I mean? We thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. And without further ado, gonna bring the color dashes. What's going on with you, baby?
What up, player?
I see you working over there. What's going on with you, bro?
Well, I'm working for the fam now. You know, like all the orders is done. Now it's just once I finish this up, everybody in the house is fed. They satisfied. They're good for the night. Baby ready to go to sleep, and I'm ready to relax.
I dig on that for real. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how was your day outside of?
It was good. So today I got the chance to network a little bit with Ashley from Humble Greatness, and meet some other Black entrepreneurs, like other Black chefs, couple of bakers. It was a little bit of everything. It's kind of like a business fair that kind of like similar to what Lady T was telling us about last week. It was something similar to that, you know. But it was like more so for like Black entrepreneurs in Philadelphia to try to drum up more business for them, you know, network, associate, you know, just kind of see what avenue and resources are available within our own community. So we don't have to always, you know, go to our less melanin folks, you know, just to get good services. So it was good.
Respect to it. It's been cool. I got out of work. Still a little exhausted, but my family came through and helped to revitalize me and give me some uplifting energy. So I appreciate them. I love them for that. And I'm here, man. I'm here.
Oh, I know. This is the last one. Like, how you feel? How you feel about this?
Well, you know, there's a lot of feelings, but what's most important is that, you know, success is going to be prevalent beyond just the brand. You know what I mean? That's the most important thing to state. and to keep at the forefront, you know what I'm saying? The fields can go any which way, you know what I'm saying? We can go all day about the fields, but I don't think that that is that important as much as the scope of what we've built as a foundation and the trajectories thereof.
Well, I kind of agree with you more. I definitely was still up in my feels though this morning. Like it was hitting me like it was the dawn. It's the end of an era. I was reminiscing on all the times and moments we already shared together. And I was just thinking to myself, damn, like we really left a mark. And at least like for me personally, like the show has been like a big help. And like rediscovering who I am and even, helping evolve the person that I was prior to the show and, hopefully the man I'm going to become long after the show is done.
Right on. Right on. The Color Duchess said the end of an era. Real talk. Real talk.
I was a little emotional this morning. I was looking at our old stuff and I was like, Dad, we had some moments.
Yeah, that we did. Juice was going on. Kang was going on. Moon Piggy. Wow. Moon Piggy, for those who don't know, is the father of our brother. Is the reason why we say long live the moon. Is the reason why we say forever under. We are blessed and humbled to have your presence here with us, Moon Piggy. Thank you so much. That means more than the scope of anything else that we'll be doing during this episode. I really mean that. Thank you. That's special. That's really special. I did not expect that. That is special.
Quick Moon story. He was the one who initially got me up into screenwriting for the most part. Like I remember upon first meeting him, like I was just a novice writer who was just writing like little scripts up in my notebook and whatnot. And Moon actually took the time and not only like showed me software, but actually showed me step by step how to function them, how to work it, help help my networking as far as like introducing me to people. Like, and this was just off of just like conversations. Like he ain't owe me nothing or nothing like that. It was just like his natural spirit and his heart. Like I always remember him just doing that. Like
facts, big facts, big facts. Long live the moon. That's forever under. That's forever under. The high five wouldn't be high five without Moon. The 8-track and Jetty 8-track wouldn't be that without Moon. You know what I'm saying? The pivotal mind, the pivotal spirit, pivotal heart in our growth and development and helping us to move away from being just random talents to specializing our gifts in our fields and to cultivating our minds into being much more. We appreciate you.
I don't know where I'd be. Yeah, I don't know where I'd be without Moon, without you, without Chef, without Juice, like Quick, everybody. Like y'all been real helpful for my growth, my maturation processes as a man. Even figuring out that I wanted to do fly him out, like y'all been a huge help with that. Like I remember before the show, like I was even torn on like should I pursue writing, should I pursue media, should I pursue cooking? And I just remember, just kind of feeling unsure of everything I was doing. And this show like kind of gave me clarity, like talking to y'all every week, getting deep into the fields, whatever topic we was discussing, kind of just, after a while, I started becoming more and more comfortable with just letting everybody see who I was,
right,
and being more comfortable with the decisions I'm making. And also that I was trusting, I was making the best decisions for myself,
Right.
So, I gotta thank y'all for that. This has been good.
Likewise, we thank you. But with that being said, man, what was your favorite moment throughout this journey?
What was my favorite moment? That is a tough question. I guess I would probably say, what was my favorite moment? All right, can I do two?
Of course.
What comes to mind is when we was in the studio and we came up with the Ratchet contest, and we picked the Ratchet song.
Yeah.
that King said was neither ratchet or like.
Yeah.
But
He
he was
was like,
just like,
y'all don't know ratchet music. And I'm like, man, you wildin', bro. You hear these lyrics?
like so that always stayed in my mind because it just showed me how different but how similar we all were at the same time. And
Yeah.
I guess what was my second moment. It's a lot of memories, but the one that stands out to me the most would be, I believe it was episode 100 when we was at Murph House for the cookout, and it seemed
Uh-huh.
like everybody was just stopping through while we was in the middle of the show. Like that just kind of just to me represented what positive vibes maybe is. Like family, friends, conversation. It's just
Yeah.
real. Like it's just authentic. Like you can't fake the vibes.
Yeah. I feel you. I definitely feel it.
How about you?
Yeah, that
What
was a
your
great
moments?
episode. I want to see if I could pinpoint two moments my damn self. You know what
Like,
I'm
there was a
saying?
lot. Like, yeah.
There were a lot
Like
of
the moment.
moments. There were a lot of moments. I say one of my favorite moments will have to be when this is funny. Baby, you might want to cover our daughter's ears for this one. One of my favorite moments was the Man Coochieism series because it made my baby just gave me the eyes right now. I don't know, man. I like poking the bear, man. I do. Anshi, Ray, what's going on with you? The African Butterfly, what's going on? Welcome to the celebration. Welcome to the last episode of PVM. We're glad that you could join us. But you know what I mean? I like doing things. Like I like thinking and I like seeing what about society or what about the human condition, human behavior, including myself, can be put out into the chopping block, into the spotlight, and can make other people uncomfortable. Because it's not like I haven't been comfortable or I haven't been uncomfortable myself with these realities. So it's kind of like what comedians do. Comedians, they take uncomfortable aspects of life and then they make jokes about it. So sometimes I see things and I'm like, yo, I know if I push the button with this, it's not a lot of people that's going to ride this train with me. And that's fine. I'm used to riding trains by myself. So like, I'm just gonna push this button and see who really understands the train tracks and understands just like the speed, the velocity of this train. And even though it's rickety, that we still going somewhere. Like, let's see who really down with this ride. So I appreciate that. That was a funny moment for me. That was a funny moment for me. You know what I'm saying? Another one would be I guess the New York episodes in general. Whenever I was in New York, yeah, we always had some really really good conversations. Whenever I was in New York, out in Manhattan, and just doing, what I'm saying, walking around and shit. That was great.
And I always love the aesthetics of those episodes too. Like when you look back, it just looks so nice. Like you can't beat the lights in New York.
Yeah, facts.
I got another episode, the incel episode too, because I'll never forget
Yeah.
you or the incel going in on them guys. Like
Damn right.
that's
Yo,
tattooed in my memory.
it's weird, bro. Like to this day, incel, that whole thing, like waving the incel flag is weird, bro. It's weird. I don't like. It's weird. It's weird. So yeah, I understand that. But that African Butterfly said, "What's up, guys? What's going on with you? What's going on with you, Nimade?" Rory said, "Congrats on love and your kid, Jetty. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you." And the color Duchess said, "Didn't Minnie make a cameo once?" She did. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite moments. Thank you, baby. Look, so I gotta break this down, right? So in one of the episodes, I was walking around in New York. I was walking around Manhattan, and Listia So Fancy was going on with you. And I was just walking around and just so happened to be some of these personalities, some of these Disney personalities, Marvel personalities. I think it was Iron Man and Minnie. And it just came up to me. I'm doing my own thing. These cats come up to me like, hey, hey, hey. I'm like, all right, well, look, hey, hey, hey. You know what I'm saying? We Fat Albert together. You know what I'm saying? So I guess they thought I took a picture when I was in my whole entire world. I go and walk away. They try to hit me with the whop the bang. like, oh man, you gotta pay us tight times. I don't think people really caught that. Maybe they did because I think I just spoke on it really, really quickly or whatnot. I ain't paying y'all niggas. Y'all niggas jumped on my shit. I mean, y'all should be paying me, like, but you know what I mean? So I was like, oh wow, I understand the hustle. I respect it, but look, y'all just got burnt. You know what I'm saying? Paramore Metamorphosis, what's going on? Selena, Marcel Lifestyle, what's going on? Welcome to the final episode of Positive Vibes Maybe. Thank you for joining us for this celebration. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This is a special one. We're going to just do some playbacks and runbacks of my favorite episodes, favorite moments, this, that, and the third, things about the brand that have been challenging, that have been uplifting, and what we were able to do for people and have people do for us. This is what this is all about tonight, you know?
Okay. I don't even think about the struggles though now. Like struggles almost seem like it wasn't really struggles. Now that we looking back, like honestly, I'm kind of thankful for them because I feel more prepared now that we're moving into new chapters of our lives. Like I feel comfortable with everything that we went through. Like, all right, you know what? This really ain't a big deal. Like I've been through this before.
Yes, sir.
Work. Like, well, I know how to maneuver up in this situation. More importantly,
That sounds like a learned man who was taking from this exactly what he needed to take. But with that being said, what was the greatest challenge about keeping this show consistent on your end? What was the greatest challenge about that? The counselor, what's going on with you? What was the greatest challenge?
I'll probably say consistently the topics. Like, you know, you guys are hard to appease, you know, like, and then I also put like a certain expectation of myself. So like when we had a little phase where I felt like we was a little stagnant with the topics, I was like testing myself like, all right, what can I find that's going to captivate everybody, but we also going to want to talk about. So like that to me is like the biggest challenge of it all. Like not only following the topic, but also wanting to talk about the topic because it's things out there to always talk about, but you really want to have an hour-long conversation about somebody about that, you know. That's always the, you know.
Right.
And then seeing something that's going to balance the both of us that we'll both have interest in discussing too. So I'll say that was like the biggest hurdle. Obviously, you know, like everybody knows, like I was always stressed out about the numbers, you know, until like eventually like, I just let it be what it's going to be. Like the numbers are what they are. Like, but once I got out of my head about that, it just was mostly just the topics.
Right.
What was the biggest issue that stood out for you, or the biggest hurdle?
It was the consistency from all of us, because little to everybody's knowledge, it can be difficult to get three people on accord on one thing consistently on a 2 times a week schedule and basis, especially when there are other things that these three people are doing. And by these three people, I do mean myself, I do mean Dash, and I do mean our executive producer, Kang. So it can be difficult to get three people on the same time and even on the same understanding about the execution of things, the execution of topics, the same understanding of ideologies. It can be difficult, you know what I'm saying? And in the midst of each of us losing a certain aspect of perspective in the full grasp of what should be mutual understanding, we've come to recognize and realize that there's always should be a level of humility that is present. And I speak on myself as far as that is concerned. I know there was some times that I got really, really passionate about things that I might have snapped on you or I might have snapped on Kang and stuff. And it wasn't like I was angry with you guys. It was just me being in the circumstance and not necessarily having a channel outside of who I was immediately corresponding with. So not only do I apologize, you know what I'm saying, that just happens to be the nature of the beast in attempting to coordinate various schedules. You know what I mean? That was definitely a difficulty for me.
Yeah, that was difficult for all of us. I don't never hold none of that like to heart though, because like at the end of the day, we family. Like family is going to fight, family is going to argue, family not always going to see eye to eye, you know. And that's kind of always how I channeled it. Like I always knew, like at the end of the day, we all had, even like when we all didn't see the same ideologies or kind of see how things should go accordingly the same way. I always knew like we all had the same goal in mind. Like I want the show to be a success. So like I don't necessarily have to always agree or even have to I don't necessarily always have to agree with the plan, but like, you know, my thing was always like if you're confident enough in what we're doing, I'm good with that. You know, like I trust you enough, you know, like whether I trust the opinion, I trust you enough to be like, all right, you know what? I might not understand it, I might not agree with it, but I'm gonna let him cook, you know, and like see where this route going down. And for me, like that's kind of like the route I kind of started taking after a while. It's just like, you know what? Let me see what everybody want to do. Let me see what you do when we give you this space. Let me see what Shab do. Let me see what I do when I take this space. You know, like, and we all kind of had like junctures where I felt like, you know, one of us part of to an extent, like, or kind of led the pack of what we was going to do. You know, and I felt like that was beneficial and detrimental in the same way. You know, like because like how you said, we didn't have like one straight path of how we were going to do things. It was always like jumping over, but I feel like in the chaos we made magic too, you know. It's hard for me to kind of look at that as a bad thing because there's like times where I did agree with that worked out like perfectly, you know. Like I remember, for instance, like when we did the picnic in the park, you know, like I wasn't a big fan of doing that initially, but that was a success. Like, you know, that worked out better than I had envisioned. Like you and Chef had the vision for that, you know, like, so for me, it's just like, you know what, let me trust in my guys. Let me trust in the people. Let me believe in the people I decide to work with, you know, and like, you know, that's one aspect I'm going to be taking from the show. Like, you know, like not only just being willing to listen to people, because like for most viewers who've been watching the show from the beginning now, I have a hard time listening and well, not even comprehending, but it's really just listening, just paying attention, just not listening to speak. You know, like that was one of my biggest issues upon joining the show was I always listen to speak instead of listening to listen. You know.
Yeah. I dig that. So, Real King Natural just joined us. What's going on with you, King? Thank you for joining us for our last episode of Positive Vibes. Maybe 3 years, 3 years of support, love, and great conversation and great programming. So, since we're about to close this out, we can open some of the sciences out to the people. So, here's something out of the treasure troves, the behind the scenes, if you will, that people outside of Positive Vibes do not know. So, initially, one of the directions for Positive Vibe, and this is we started in 2019. That's another thing that people don't know. Before I get to the main thing, we started in I want to say maybe September 2019. We started somewhere in the third quarter of 2019, and it was the brilliant idea of our executive producer, Chef Kang, pardon me, to say, look, y'all need to work on your dynamic. Y'all need to do in studio sit downs and work on stuff so that by the time we're ready to go live, it's seamless. The first episode is going to be seamless. So we actually have episodes before the first episode that exists of us getting our dynamic together. You know what I mean? So by the time the top of 2020 happened, we were ready to go. This, of course, was before we knew that the world was going to be shut down by COVID. And the hustle is so mean. The hustle is so mean that I remember Chev and I, Kang, pardon, White Butterfly, what's going on? We talked about possibly making PVM or a function of PVM going like a platform for dating, right? Yeah. And it was going to be, you know, us having interviews with women
and quote unquote dates, and by quote unquote I mean we would invite the women, we would wine and dine them on air, and we will make sure that they get to the designations, their designated locations, homes, whatever, or wherever they felt safe, safely at the end of the night. And the whole point of that was to help to instill a sense of, you know, there's still real ones out here. You know what I mean? That we're not trying to date for anything more than just to, you know what I mean, introduce the fact that there's still real ones out here. And beyond that, the channel for PVM was going to be to allow for a certain class of men, if you would, to say, oh, that's this person's interesting, that person's interesting, or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like to cut the filter or to cut the fat and to filter the nonsense, so that the demographic of our true audience, the essence of the people who resonate with us up here, would be able to actually find like minds, kindred spirits as well. You know what I mean? We were talking about getting into like dating profiles and putting PVM on dating profiles and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But that fell through.
And everything.
Yeah, facts. That fell through. I'm glad it did though, but you know, it was an interesting idea.
That was one of the wilder ideas, you know. Like that one, I was really leaning on y'all, like, because I was just like, I wasn't seeing the vision with that one. I was just trusting that y'all had that idea set pay.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, the vision for that one is easy. You can't depend on niggas for shit. Unless they're your brothers, you can't depend on niggas for shit. Women are the ones that run shit. Let's keep things all the way fun. Women are the ones that when they promote, people listen. Women are the ones that if they're really behind you, they gonna put their 110% behind things or whatnot to make sure that the people that they rock with are gonna be successful. Niggas ain't shit. Niggas just sit around and get high all day. I said it. Fuck it. I said it. But you know what I mean. So the whole purpose of that also was to galvanize a following of women that we will be able to trust, and in turn they will be able to trust us as far as to help us get genuine engagements and genuine followers.
I mean, we kind of did that naturally, accidentally, honestly. You know, when we started developing the topics, and that even that was a journey, because initially we was kind of freestyling a bit, you know, like just relying strictly off our chemistry, you know, and just honestly shooting shits for the most part until we like started developing a little structure. Originally, we even had a wine segment for those who were early beginners with us.
True.
As we like slowly evolved on to the lives, you know, we kind of got away from the wine, but like for obvious purposes, like we didn't have the same. Well, it didn't offer the same that it did in person, like where we was actually sharing a bottle of wine, getting a chance to discuss it.
Hold on, wait a minute. The Color Duchess said we all knew what that was going to turn into. It's giving cult. Hold on. It's all right. So we gave the science, right? It's also important that we gave the guidelines. We also had some parameters too. I remember one of the rules where we were not allowed to date outside. Like whoever we invited onto the show, we were not allowed to date that person outside of the show. That was one of the things, because we ain't down for dirty macking. You know what I mean? I remember networking, and Kane can attest to this. I remember cats in networking, they used to give out they phone numbers and they business cards and whatnot, and be like, yo, I could produce, I'm a rapper, I'm a singer, I own the studio. Whole time they just trying to hit corny, dirty macking. We ain't about that. We was really strictly about business.
You know, like we definitely was worried. Well, we was worried about just building a following, but the ladies just kind of came naturally, you know, like, and even like as we started opening the show up to guests, you know, I believe our first guest was a woman, wasn't she?
Bro, I don't know, man. Our first guest was somebody. No, I think our first guest was homeboy with the socks. It was your homie with the socks. I think it was our first guest.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was good. Okay, yeah. The girls. I think they was our second. I'm thinking about them for.
Maybe on IG when we first made the transition to IG, like full time, if you will. I think maybe our first guest on there, it was a girl. It was a woman part of me, yeah.
Like you said, like the ladies, they kind of naturally start supporting us, and we appreciate y'all for that too. Like, appreciate y'all for tuning in every Sunday, every Wednesday, then jump into every Sunday with us. You know, initially at 6 o'clock, then to 7 o'clock, and even during the late night lives we had, you know, during COVID, like those things were lit.
Yep, we definitely had some late night lives. We definitely had some late night lives.
We were thinking about exploring at one point too, like giving you guys late night specials. You know.
True, very true. So, hold on, let me put this. Y'all like to see how much time we got left. That's just me personally. I'll stop at 2:45. I got a good catch on time anyway. So, the Color Duchess said the studio audio. The Color Duchess said the studio audio episodes were a vibe on SoundCloud. Facts though, facts. I miss the ambiance and the feel of the studio. Like it meant something when we had the studio. You know what I mean? It was easier to convince folk to jump on because it wasn't like what everybody had. Anybody right now can say, yo, I got a talk show or I got something going on IG. Anybody could say that. That's not special. But the fact that we had a studio, it set us apart from everybody immediately. It was a real production. And with that being said, shout out to Breezy. Shout out to Breezy Digital. Breezy Digital was our camera person when we first started. She held us down, and she's a great camera person. She has an exceptional eye. Y'all follow Breezy Digital, BREEZY Digital. You know what I mean? She's a brilliant mind. She knows what she's doing, y'all.
Third mic at times too for us.
Facts.
And everything, clean aesthetics, everything. And you know, going back to the studio, like people love coming up there because we also provide a certain ambiance too. Like we wasn't giving you the creepy vibes, you know, or the pervy vibes. Like when you came up, everything was professional. We had a good time. It was feel good. Made you feel relaxed. You wanted to open up, you know.
That's a fact, though.
Like honestly, I always think back to like if we didn't have the studio life, we wouldn't have lasted on the lives as much. That was like that was the planting of us, like kind of helped us get our groove, kind of figure out how we was going to do this thing and navigate it. And actually, for me personally, it kind of gave me the confidence that I can actually do this thing, you know. Because at the first episode, I was a little shaky. Well, honestly, I was still shaky if I really wanted to do this. Like I knew I had like a desire to do it, but I didn't know if it was a desire or if it was passion.
What's the difference between the two for you? What's the difference between desire and passion?
It's always there. Like it's like regardless if I want to do it or not, I gotta do it. Like I feel the urge, the need to do it. Like it's like how I feel about flying out now. Like it's like I was having this conversation with Kang earlier where he was just like, you know, consistency is key. And I'm just like, yeah, like at this point, I don't have a choice but to be consistent because like what's driving me is bigger than me. It's not even yo, do you want to do this? It's something that's calling at me. Like, so it's bigger than me. Like that's, so I know it's passion. I know it's deeper than whatever I'm feeling. Whatever I think it is deeper than that. Like I can't even put words to what it means to me yet. But desire, you know, I could want it in this moment, but I can also let it go. I can be cool if it isn't here or if it is here. Like I'm good either way. Like it isn't going to affect me one way or the other. Like, and if I feel that way, then more times than not, I'm probably going to give up or like let it go at some point because it's not going to be something that's going to consistently call at me. And it's going to initially be those days where it's just like, do I really want to do this? It became something like even when I didn't want to do it, I still wanted to do it. You know, like I remember every time I'd be like, I don't really feel like getting on live, but then, you know, we get the countdown like, yo, 10 minutes to live, and then like my body started changing and just like, all right, yo, we about to get on. Kind of snap out of whatever feeling you feeling, you know, like showtime. Like and I knew then, like, all right, this is a passion. Like whatever PVM goes, this is something I'm going to do regardless. Like, and that's how I define it. So.
I dig that. Definitely dig that, bro. And so let's keep things all the way funky. We here with family. We here with friends. What was your least favorite guest on Positive Vibes, maybe?
Oh, all right. And this is no shade to the individuals. Like, this is no shade to the individuals at all. Like, it's just how I interpret how the episode is gonna go. Just didn't necessarily work out to that favor. So, first it's gonna be my friend Chris, who came on. She was the plastic surgeon for the BBLs. You know, like honestly, that was informational for the women, you know. But for me personally, like just as a whole, just as a viewer watching it was boring as hell for me. So like it really didn't call at me as an episode I'm going to run back to in the future to watch, or even it never really called back to me at all. That was number one. That's definitely top of the hill. The second one is going to be Superfly, you know. I figured you was going to laugh because, like, I remember me and you actually had conversations about that, and you telling me, play, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. And while you was doing your sabbatical for the month, like, I interviewed her, and, like, throughout that episode, I was thinking to myself the whole time, damn, Jetty was so right about this one. Like, he was so right. Like,
facts. Big facts. Big facts. Yeah.
So one time in PVM history, I wanted to like kind of cut the gas midway and just be like, all right, episode is over. Like,
Yes, sir.
And I only don't put him number one because at the end he performed a song, and I fucked with the song, and that was like the saving grace of the episode where I was just like, all right, at least he gave me a song out this time.
That's a fact. That's a super fact. That's funny. All right, I'm gonna give two too. First of all, shout out to Superfly.
Yeah, Superfly. Shout out to Chris
and shout out to Chris.
Both of them was amazing guests. You
it's
know,
all love.
My preference. That's my preference.
It's all love. Dave, Dress Sharp, what's going on? Thank you for joining us for our last episode, the final episode of PVM. Right now, we're talking about our least favorite guests throughout the last 3 years. Funny thing is, I gotta match you with one of those guests, and this is all love. It just didn't resonate with me, Chris. I respect what you do. I do. It's just I felt I held my tongue on questions that I really wanted to ask because I didn't know if I had a place to ask them without being, you know, arrogantly or having an arrogant affront to them. You know, I didn't want that. I remember you did say something about plastic surgery connecting to self-care, and I kind of felt some type of, my tongue wanted to waggle on that one. My tongue wanted to waggle so hard on that one, but I was just like, you know what? But shout out to you, Chris. Shout out to you still in what you're doing. Continue your hustle. And my second least favorite episode was when we had I Know Brasco on. And the reason why that was my least favorite.
And the breaking up.
Exactly. It was the breaking up. It was the fact that we had an episode, like I think we did like the first 20 or 30 minutes, and then it broke. And then we brought them on again, and then it broke again. And it was like, it should have been a great episode, and it was just a trash episode because of the reception. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Fucked this over a couple times. So it was a few episodes that I felt like IG ruined like that. Like that one for sure. The polygamy episode where Honey.
Oh wow!
Like,
yeah, that
how
happened
the first
too.
night.
Yeah.
We was going off and on the whole night that we actually had to cancel it, bring it
Right.
back Sunday. Still going through the issues, and it cut me out of it. And then you guys had to do it. I was just like, how I envisioned that episode was going to be never came out to fruition, but I still think you two did a phenomenal job on it. But
we tried because it was
yeah.
that was an experience. I remember that. That was an experience. IG was definitely hating on us that day.
I think my hatred from IG started and has risen since then. Like that was like the birth of it. Where I was like before, like anytime we had problems, I was just like, all right, you know what? I could chalk it up to my phone being overheated. I could chalk it up to not having a strong enough battery or whatever the case may be. Maybe not the latest phone or whatever, you know. But that day I was just like, no, this is clearly IG. I checked for updates. I cleared space. I've done everything right. I'm on Wi-Fi and everything, and it's still not going right. Oh no, this is
for sure. It was nonsense. Osama Dot, what's going on? Last episode of PVM Positive Vibes. Maybe thank you for joining us for the celebration. We appreciate you.
Thank y'all for tuning in for this last episode. Thank y'all for tuning in for all these past episodes that we done had. You know, rocking out with us, hearing our shenanigans, hearing our ups, our downs, our trials, our tribulations, sharing with us as much as we shared with y'all, you know, opening up. You know, you guys kind of changed my perspective on a lot of things and opened me up to things that I thought I was closed off to, you know, and, you know, showed me I'm more open and receptive to things that I thought I wasn't to. So, like, I appreciate all that, you know, all the learning, you know, all the conversations that we had too, you know, like, because you guys are definitely conversive, and when y'all feel a certain way, y'all let us know, and I definitely appreciate that. Like, there was a few commenters who, you know, we had certain topics that didn't sit well with, you know, or maybe they just didn't feel the vibe that, or what a guest was saying, you know, and they let their feelings be heard, and I appreciate that, you know, like, I can't tell y'all how much it warms my heart when I see like a comment in the message or a comment under the videos, like giving us y'all take on what we said, how y'all feel about it, you know, whether you agree with it or not. Like, I just love the interaction, and I appreciate that. Well, we appreciate that. You know?
Absolutely. It's been a long run. A good long run. You know what I'm saying? So, out of all the episodes that we've done, is there an episode that you either regret saying something or you put something out there that you wish that you didn't put out there at that time?
Yeah. So at the same time, I don't regret it. You know, yes and no. So, like, for me personally, like, you guys got to see me go through levels and stages of my life that I didn't think I'd be so willingly with the world, you know, like, from dating situations, y'all got to see some of my upsides, some of my downsides. I would have preferred, like, if some of my past, you know, spouses, you know, didn't make appearances on the show, or, you know, little cameos, you know, or things I might have said, you know, in the heat of their relationship, you know, whether positively or negatively, I wish kind of just would have stayed off camera. But, you know, like, you live and grow, you know, like, with it, like, I'm getting comfortable with what I'm doing on the screen and what I'm being mindful of what I'm saying on the screen as well as also who I'm keeping around me, the type of atmosphere I'm cultivating when I'm recording, who I'm recording around, what I'm saying, you know. And even it was a couple stories, you know, and one was on the audio, for those who take a listen, you know, that just didn't sit well with the people around me. Like, I personally didn't have a problem with, but they had a problem that I shared the story, you know. So, for some of that, I regret somewhat, but at the same time, there's also my story to share as well. So, I can't be all but so regretful. But yeah, it's definitely little moments here and there. Like, for you, what moment stepped out for you that you wish you would have?
You know what? I don't know if I could say I regret, because it is what it is, and I've always ran with the narrative that my life is an open book, you know what I'm saying? But I would say, if I could go back and take some more time for myself when my mother transitioned, instead of coming back as soon as I did, I probably would. I probably would, because I think I only missed one episode, and I came back
I was
and
surprised you came back
we
so
just
quick.
kept it going. Yeah, we just kept it going. You know what I'm saying? Um, I appreciate the fact that everybody here, we're here for the brand, and we're here also for the background story, if you will, just the knowledge of what I was going through. You know what I mean, and the support thereof. But yeah, if I can go back, I would have fell back from PVM for a little while before I returned.
I get what you said. Sometimes you just gotta take it down and reflect.
Mm,
I
that's
thought
a fact.
that's what you was going to do at that time, but I also thought you was using PVM as like your own form of therapy at the moment
It
too.
was, yeah, it was absolutely. So you were right. You were right. It was. It definitely was. Especially being in that home, man. Shit. At the time, like I was still in the home my mother passed July 31st. I didn't move from Philly until September 29th. So for the course of 2 months, I had to live in a home where the walls were speaking to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm here in this home by myself when I'm so used to sharing the space with my mom. So for 2 months, like I was really losing my mind. Like, just memories and the walls, you know what I'm saying? Like the furniture, the space, you know what I'm saying? Like I was definitely going through it for real, for real. Crystal John, what's going on with you? The last episode of PVM Positive Vibes, maybe. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. So, Dave Swinson said, "Oh, my fault. What you were about to say?"
Oh no, I was about to read the comment too. Go ahead. Oh, okay. So,
Swinson said, "Sometimes you gotta take down time and reflect. What made you keep going, bro? Honestly, it was the camaraderie. It was the camaraderie with Dash. It was the camaraderie with Kang. It was all of you. It was all of you. Because, like I said, I was losing my shit. I was really losing my shit. You know what I mean? It's like I would go out, feign enjoyment, and I would come back home to a really quiet house, but it wasn't quiet at all at the same time. I was really losing my shit. And then on top of that, I had to deal with a dickhead landlord that because he didn't want to pay mortgage tax, and I respected it at the same time. You know what I mean? He wanted me there until the end of the lease, which was December. But I had to let him know, man, look, like, I ain't gonna be able to stay here until December, bro. I gotta, you know what I mean? Like, the fuck, I'm gonna have to situate myself in such a way that if I stayed in a neighborhood, I would be so ingrained in the neighborhood. And I say this right now in case I never said this. If I stayed in that house, I wouldn't be here today. I would be in jail, I would be in an asylum, or I would be dead because that house would have been slowly poisoning my mind, slowly poisoning my spirit. You know what I mean? It would have been way too much for me. So when I told that to my landlord, he was trying to get me out before September 30th because he found a buyer. So for the 2 months that I was in that house, I had to deal with random people coming in and out, checking the house out, random potential buyers. I didn't really have peace. You know what I'm saying? Like at any point in time, somebody could have just popped up. You know what I mean? He would have called, but like, yo, be here at this time, because somebody's. It was like, you know what I mean? I had to cuss him out on some shit. Like when I moved, like the day I moved, I had to keep it pleb. I had to keep it pleb before, I left so that, you know what I'm saying? But I had to cuss his ass out. We didn't get our security deposit. They were crooks. You know what I mean? They held my mom down to a certain degree throughout the years, but they were still crooks. But I respect the hustle. I don't hate them. I don't hate them at all. You know what I mean? I don't hate them at all. It is what it is. But yeah, there was a lot of things. There's a lot of things a lot of things on my mind at that time. So what kept me going, to answer your question once again, is just, knowing that there was a certain respite jumping on here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily have to focus so much on the shit that I was focusing on when I was on here. So I appreciate y'all.
that's cool. Honestly, same thing. works for me. You know, like that's kind of what kept me going. Like anytime I had anything going on in my life that was tumultuous, um, some shit I just didn't bring on the camera, but like I can always depend on like at some point that you was gonna make me laugh up on this joint. We was gonna have a great conversation. You guys in the comments, y'all was gonna help keep the conversation going and add to it. And like for 2 hours each week, I just knew like whatever I was going through for 2 hours out of each week, everything was gonna be all right. You know, like regardless of how the episode went, everything was gonna be okay. Like this was my safe space. And as we closing this thing, like that's the one thing I'm most bittersweet about giving up is like this has become like almost to an extent a crutch for me, you know, because like I kind of do depend on you guys, and I have got comfortable with just you know to an extent pouring myself out to you guys, and you know also you guys pouring yourselves into me. So and that we aren't going to be doing this as much, you know, like I kind of, you know, it's kind of taking me to where I was prior to the show, where I don't want to cut myself off and become as isolated as I felt like I was prior to, but also being comfortable enough to be like, all right, you know what, sometimes isolation is cool, you know, and just kind of just picking my spots and just making sure I'm still amongst the people, I'm still expressing myself. I'm also, you know, taking time for me, taking time to be the best version of myself, and honestly trying to be the person, you know, like you guys have kind of helped mold me to become, you know. So
we mold each other, brother. Steel sharpens steel. You know what I mean? So I thank you for that as well. You know what I mean? Miss Sheba, what's going on? What's going on? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Our last episode of PVM, Positive Vibes Maybe. Thank you for joining us for this.
I feel like I was listening to your favorite song earlier today. Shut up. My little dance on, like I was just like, oh, I'm in my bag. I just gotta call Auntie. So I'm glad you popped up on this thing.
We appreciate you throughout the years, Auntie. Thank you.
And like I will say that about my family, like they do tap in, like they do show love, you know. Like everybody show love, but like like we definitely got a lot of love from like women and like the older women in general too. Like y'all sure got behinds off of us, like.
Yep. Yes, y'all did.
Just as love, you know, like I love y'all little loved ones. So, I said, you guys gave me so much food for thought. Appreciate y'all. So we appreciate you. Like I said, like you guys opened my perspective to a lot of things, you know, like from the way people think to the way they feel to how they react. So I gotta thank you guys so much for that. Like y'all changed the way I view people for the better, you know. I feel like hey nephews, love you both. Wish y'all well and all that you do.
See, thank you. Creed up in here. What's up? That's our sister right there. Creed, what's going on with you, Creed? You now rocking with those folks, you know, last episode of PVM.
So let me ask you this. If there was one thing you wish you could have done differently to PVM, whether better or to make it better, or wish you could change, regardless, what would it be? You know, or what would they have been? You know.
I know you talked about having a payroll situation. I would have went full steam with that. I would have went full steam with a payroll situation. We had a talk, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the sciences that y'all might not be knowing about too much. Sir Trip Nova Dabbington, that's who I think it is. What's going on with you? I mean, welcome to the last episode of PVM Positive Vibes, maybe, you know what I mean? But we talked about having a system and a format in which we will put two people that we selected under a payroll, and we'll pay from our pockets to help promote us. You know what I mean? Two people whose job would be strictly to promote us on social media, and they will get paid by either bi-weekly or I think it was bi-weekly or every week or something like that. I would have gone straight forward with that, and yeah, I would have shit, if I could, I'd pay it out of my own pockets, honestly. It would just be strictly out of my own pockets. But that's the one thing that I would say that I wish I could do differently. I would have went back and I would have found a way to make that actually happen instead of, you know what I mean, stopping short of just a meeting about it, you know what I mean?
That's definitely, yeah, that's definitely one day for me too. Like that, Patreon, getting that situated more, and then the cartoon series.
Mm.
That is also something I wish we would have been more consistent with. Like I love
Yeah.
how we started off, and I even love like the ideas and the concepts we all had brought to the table on how we was going to further the cartoon series, the scripts, and even like the script that we had for you. You know, Jetty returns to Jersey. Well, Jetty leaves Jersey. You know.
Yeah, get Jetty out of Jersey. So another thing too, for people that don't know, you know what I mean. When I moved to Jersey, you know, it was a script that was being formed between Dash and Chef. It was like get Jetty out of Jersey, and it was going to be me, you know what I mean, just up in Jersey as if I was in a prison, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And I just be in my thoughts, you know, it'd just be me laying around doing things. And I'd just be real pensive in my thoughts. Whole time it'd be chaos between, you know, Chev and Dash, just like cooking up ways to like get me out of there and shit like that. So yeah, that was the thing.
I love that idea. And the cartoon series, like
Yeah,
shout out to Murph,
facts.
you know, for being a pig on that thing. So like,
For real, for real. He was definitely the mayor of the city that we created. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Iz, man. Shout out to Iz, man.
I still remember him talking shit during the little recording sessions we had. Like,
Hell
those
yeah.
things we need to drop to life. Like, those was funny as hell. Like,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, those were great times. Leela and K, what's going on with yourself? You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the last episode of Positive Vibes. Maybe appreciate you for joining us in the celebration. You know what I'm saying? We just reminiscing. We're gonna make this one a little bit longer and wait another 10, 15 minutes past the time that we usually cut off, you know what I mean? Because, you know, this is the last one, you know what I mean? We thank everybody for being up in here too, you know what I'm saying?
and then show out, show love, and we appreciate y'all for that. Like, the show love to the YouTube, the Twitter, the Instagram. You know, came out to events with us. You know, shout out to all the events that we've been to, like, and all the places that we go to. S Cafe.
Facts.
You know, got to show a love to them. What was it? Lemon Park we was at. What's that on?
Yeah, we was also down Camden. Shout out to Camden, New Jersey. You know what I mean? They greeted us with so much love, and we performed down there. We represented PVM down there. So shout out Camden. Where else? Yep, yep. You know what I mean? Much love to him. Much love to him.
And shout out to Coco too for coming down, being one of our guests down there.
Oh, absolutely.
Shout out to Miss Luminous.
Yes,
You know.
yes. Shout out to the long awaited dinner that Dash owed Miss Luminous. That Dash was trying to dip on Miss Luminous about for like the last 15 years or so. We finally made it happen on PPM. So shout out.
Got footage of it and everything, you know.
Yeah.
What a conversation. Good times, good times. Like,
That's
and poetry nights, I'm definitely going to miss those, the poetry episodes. Like, so shout out to all the poets that came through, drop gems. There's so many of y'all, I can't remember all y'all names at this time. So I'm not even going to attempt to say some of them in an attempt that I'm going to forget one. So just I appreciate y'all for all sharing your works, your poetry, being as vulnerable with us as we were with y'all.
Yes,
and
sir.
also helping us push the pen too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And with that, you know, shout out to Nimade and AP because both of them was on me about, you know, helping my level of pen.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that, ladies.
Shout out to Nimade and AP. You know what I mean, for consistently supporting us, consistently being there for us, consistently just being genuine minds and genuine Riz, we appreciate it. We love you for real. For real. What's going on in Mocha Minutes? What's good? Thank you for joining us. Our last episode of PVM Positive Vibes. Maybe we thank you for joining us for the celebration right here, right now. You deep.
What up?